I think he lost his ID card. Wait one moment, Officer Meekins. I'm not good at waiting, sir. I have the victim's ID card right here. I found it at the crime scene. That makes sense. When I say crime scene, I'm not referring to the evidence room in the police department. I mean the other crime scene. The underground parking lot of the prosecutor's office. You think my voices are spot on? No, they're just different enough to where they're not going to mesh into one person. Your Honor, I have one more piece of evidence to present. It's a very important clue regarding the victim's ID card. Lost item report. It's only half completed. But it shows that the Detective Goodman had lost something on the day of the crime. Now, I'll take the compliment. I'm just being humble and dumb about it because I don't think my voices are great. They're just different. But I'm glad you can differentiate between them. Oh gosh, that's probably true, Rune. I have character notes on how to be everybody in my Dungeon Master game, and I got to do a lot of it last time. It was great. Something important enough to fill out this report. Let me guess. You believe this something to be his ID card, correct? You like the uppity British thing for Edgeworth? Thank you, Ranger. I'll take the compliment, since I didn't take bricks, and now we know who I like more. I can't say for sure, but there's a high probability. On the day of the crime, Detective Goodman was not carrying his card. Why is Meekins standing on a side? What does this all mean? It can only mean one thing. It doesn't even require much thought. The man Officer Meekins encountered in the evidence room was not Detective Goodman, but rather the man who stole his ID card. Oh, guys, if you want to hear what Fantasia's voice sounds like, go look into Discord. Does the prosecution have a response? I have only one thing to say to the defense. Bravo, Mr. Wright. Bravo. Allow me to summarize the defense's argument. At 5:15 on the day of the crime, the man in the evidence room Officer Meekins encountered was not Detective Goodman. There are two grounds to support this. First, the locker in the evidence room was already unlocked. Second, the victim lost his ID card. Am I correct so far, Mr. Wright? Yes. What's he up to? That being the case, we must inevitably arrive at a single conclusion. If the victim in this video is a fake, then the murder in the evidence room is also fake. In other words, the security camera does not show the instant of the murder. That is, I guess that's right. Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Only moments ago you seemed content to be pointing your finger around. This isn't going end well. Well, it seems you've finally realized exactly what you've gotten such lengths to prove. Explain yourself. The defense has already done the explaining for me. The victim in this video is a fake, which means a murder did not take place at the police department at 5:15 on the day of the crime. So the real crime could only take place at one location, the underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. The murderer being Miss Lana Skye, the defendant. The evidence is compelling. A trustworthy witness observed the moment the defendant used the murder weapon. Well, ball sack. Just balls. Just both. I knew that test was way too shabby. It was all a trap from the beginning. You can't give him that much credit. The English dub for the anime doesn't give Edgeworth a British accent. Well, he probably wouldn't have a British accent. He'd probably have a German accent since he studied under Ron Karma. And for the life of me, I couldn't find my German accent. And sprechen ein bisschen Deutsch. But I couldn't figure it out. The activity in the evidence room still leaves many questions unanswered. Who exactly was the victim Officer Meekins encountered? Where did this person disappear to? However, this trial's purpose is to examine only the murder of Detective Goodman. Just so, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, you could do something, or else Lana... Grrr. What do I do? How am I supposed to get myself out of this mess? Always object.
Objection!
That should never be a choice. Just always object. Wait, Von Karma doesn't have a German accent in the anime? His name is Von Karma. I would think German. Right? Manfred Von Karma? Oh, Edgeworth. Okay. Like, yeah, he's not... Okay. Never mind. He has a American accent. What now, Mr. Wright? Don't tell me you're objecting to what you've just proven. Of course not. But I almost walked right into the prosecution's trap. What are you talking about? This cross-examination has proven one thing and one thing only. The security video did not show the actual murder. It just says, and it is 5:15 on the timer there. But we found a bunch of blood there, so... However, it cannot be said that this is unrelated to the murder in the parking lot. Specifically, large amounts of blood traces were found in the evidence room. The defense demands further explanation into the truth of this matter. Yes, Your Honor. If this court were to examine this further, other witnesses will be necessary. Is the prosecution prepared? I'm sorry, Your Honor. The prosecution considered the incident at the police department to be unrelated. We have not prepared any other witnesses for this incident. And that's not Edgeworth's fault because he was taken up from leading the investigation. That's all the detective's fault. It's my chance. Time to call a certain Texas Ranger. Mr. Wright, do you mean... Your Honor, the defense would like to request a specific witness. Whom do you have in mind? Someone who have reason to believe knows the truth. The truth behind the activities that took place in the evidence room. The prosecution requests to hear this person's name before deciding whether or not to comply. Very well, Mr. Wright. This person of whom you would like to have testify. What is this? His or her name?
Take that!
Officer Jake Marshall. Really, Renji? Thanks. I mean, especially you got the freaking double. It's gotta add some kind of properness. Why him? I don't know everything just yet. He's in charge of the evidence room. I feel we should hear what he has to say. Prosecution agrees to the defense's request. Since he is responsible for guarding the room, we should hear his testimony. Fortunately, he works in the police department. He shouldn't need longer than 20 minutes to prepare. Very well. Court will take 30-minute recess. Will the prosecution please prepare the witness during this time? We will, Your Honor. Court is now in recess. Bang. Woo! Recess! Woo! Huh? Okay, that's a little better. Lighting changes when it gets from sun up to sundown. It's so annoying. It's like the sun has its own light source. There's no stopping you, is there, Mr. Wright? What do you mean? You called for Jake Marshall. It seems you've figured everything out. I haven't figured anything out. Lana, you're the one who knows everything. Emma, you always know everything. Why don't you just tell us? Mr. Wright is trying his hardest to protect you. I don't recall ever asking for his protection. Can you be so cold? Don't you trust us? Don't you trust me? I hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. Wait, what was it? What'd you need? Come back. Got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective run around all while on duty. And to top it off, you call me here. Seen happier people at funerals. Sorry, detective. Better be, pal. Hey. I didn't see you there, Chief Prosecutor Sky. Hey. That's okay, so have you brought what I asked? Yeah, Oh, you mean this, right? My apologies, Detective. Due to my present circumstances, I was forced to use Mr. Wright's name when making my request. My name? Never in a million years would I have thought it was you who asked me. Could I bother you to bring me the SL9 incident files? I'll need them by noon. Talk about crazy. The SL9 incident? But Lana, that's... I thought Mr. Wright might need them, so I had them brought here. Here, you might do well to read them. I can't believe you, the chief prosecutor, were a witness in that case. And this guy was a witness? Files for the Joe Dark killing solved 2 years ago. Take it from me, you don't want anything to do with this serial murders. Oh, what? Now I've got brought you your stuff, you're gonna ignore me? Emma, but why? Why is your name in here? What? My name's in there? I don't know unless... Couldn't be. Lana, there's that? That's the classification number the police filed it under. 2 years ago, the rest of the world knew it as the Joe Dark killings. The Joe Dark? Lana, that's over with. No! Wait! She ran away. Why'd she run away? You know what? I just remembered I gotta be somewhere. Sorry, pal, but I'm out of here. Thanks, Gumshoe. Jake Marshall, Angel Starr, Damon Gant, Miles Edgeworth. Not to mention Lana and Emma. Everyone involved in this case is connecting those killings 2 years ago. This can't be just a coincidence. Knowing you just might be able to figure it out. Time to get back to the trial, Mr. Wright. Best of luck. Better take a good look at this file right now. Okay. 4 pages. Perpetrator, Joe Dark. Crime, serial murder. Sentence, death. Edward Jones, Jason Knight, Edith Kirby, Rachel Moss, Joe Bates, Neil Marshall. Head prosecutor is Miles Edgeworth. Witness was Lana Skye and Emma Skye. Executive investigators was Damon Gant and Lana Skye. Head investigator was Bruce Goodman. Investigators Jake Marshall and Angel Starr. Okay. That didn't tell us the balls anything. This is where in other games you have to write this stuff down, pretty much. Yeah, definitely a write down thing. Was it, Fantasia? The first cosplayer you talked to in your life was a Maya Fey? That's awesome. Now, was she like 17 or was she after her training? I mean, in terms of development. She was in her 30s. Court will reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. Zagalaka, sir. How you doing? Happy Tuesday. I swear I could have that exact same... I could just make you that same clip every time if you want. It's totally sad. I'm looking extra spiffy because I'm dressed up to object while we're going through this. Emma didn't come back. Appreciate the compliment, man. Hope things are going well. I see you've been playing some Overwatch in between your Apex. Allow me to call to this witness stand the officer in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime. Also known as McCree. He goes by McCree. Witness, please state your name and occupation. Me, partner? Oh, I'm just a man, same as you, wandering the trials of civilization. Trails, not trials. Occasionally helping the elderly cross intersection when needed. Yes, we get it. Oh wow, well there you go, Zaka. As long as it's a routine and like your viewers can realize that's what you're doing. As for my name, if you listen hard enough, you can hear the howling wind call it out. To be exact, it's Jake Marshall, Your Honor. Howling wind? I've never heard Edgeworth described that way before. Now, Mr. Marshall, let me ask you something. You were in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day the crime took place. Is this correct? According to the papers, partner. And do you know what time it was? 5:15. That's when he died. A desperado's soul is as boundless as the desert sands. No paper can sum it up. It's best we get on with this quickly. Please share with us your testimony the day of the crime. In plain old English. Nope, we're getting old Wild West versions right here. We ain't getting regulars. McCree don't talk like that. My job was to keep a wary eye on that bone orchard. They say I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. Besides, the room's protected by 2 security systems anyway. If I remember right, I was at a street-side saloon at the time it went down. Just an innocent traveling man, so if you're out of ammo, it's time I hit the trail. Can't say I particularly care for your attitude. I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining. I think he's jealous because he keeps shaving his off. He's also jealous of mine. Wait a minute. What do you mean by 2 security systems? I mean the security cameras and the ID card reader. I reckon even a cowpoke like you knows about those. Yes, well, what about the fingerprint-activated locks in the evidence lockers? Fingerprint-activated locks? What kind of newfangled doohickeys are those? He's not very helpful. He's not that good with machines, or with following orders. Everyone's got their weaknesses, now don't they, Mr. Prosecutor? This one seems like trouble. Okay, Mr. Wright, he's all yours. I believe he is. Let's press.
Hold it!
How exactly did you keep an eye on the evidence room? I just made sure nothing moved in the security camera monitor. That room's so still, even time dies there. I was just a caretaker who entered the recordings. You interred them? Videos of nothing aren't that useful. When the time would come, I'd erase the tape. If nothing unusual is recorded, tapes ought to be erased every 6 hours. Each time I'd erase a tape, it felt like I was erasing a part of my life. This guy has a flair for the dramatic. He belongs on Hey Dude. So in actuality, you don't physically enter the evidence room? It's actually not that hard to do rounds 3 times a day. I mean, come on. But you made your rounds on the day of the crime, right? Ain't you heard a word I said, partner? I told you that it ain't my style. Ping, happy Tuesday. Cool emotes, I like those. I like the sip one. Right, I don't understand. No desperado I know lets rules get in his way. No desperados I know join the police force. So, Officer Marshall, on the day of the crime, just between you and me, I didn't set foot in the evidence room that day. There was rubber gloves stuck in the victim's locker. Do you know anything about that? Sorry, partner. Can't say I do. I haven't been in that crypt for weeks. How does this guy avoid being fired? You used to be a detective, so you've used the evidence room in the past, correct? Of course. Back in my day, the locker had a gold mine evidence. And yet, you didn't know about the fingerprint locking mechanism? Sorry, partner. I ain't good with machines. I couldn't even tell you how a bike works. That's quite incredible. The sensors on the locker handles cannot be seen. It's well known that some detectives are unaware of their presence. Yeah, Dr. Gumshoe said something like that too. At any rate, it doesn't seem that this is relevant to the crime. Can you tell us what you were doing?
Hold it!
So he wasn't even here. What were you doing in a place like that? I was eating spaghetti. Not even Angel's steak lunches can beat that parlor's vongole sepia pasta. Mmm, that sounds good. You mean to tell us? You abandoned your police duties to eat some noodles? If it was ramen noodles, I'd do it. Phoenix, he keeps showing up drunk off his butt to work. I mean, it could be lemonade in there. We don't know what's in his flask. Not all desperados eat tacos, partner. Now I want Taco Bell. Wow, I want Taco Bell. Dang it. That's not what I meant. I hope this has at least taught you a lesson. That's strange. This is usually where Edgeworth says, "Did you not want to raise this year?" I think we present the fingerprints to him when he says there's only 2 things. Out of ammo, Officer Marshall? That's right, partner. Or as you call it, evidence. If you plan to pin me to this crime, then you'd better draw. Otherwise, you're just wasting my time. My steel horse is waiting to carry me back west into the sunset. Everything seems clear. Despite being responsible regarding the evidence room, the witness doesn't appear to have seen anything. Texans don't take orders from anyone. Everyone knows that. Apparently your superiors don't. So, Mr. Marshall, did you get your ramen at the Wet Noodle? I'm pretty sure that's the name of the place that is in a later game. Pretty sure. I have a trump card up my sleeve, so I best keep my cool. Before I use it, though, I better up the ante. Okay, I'm gonna do this thing. Oh, that's not it. Okay. Oh, but we know he opened his locker, so can I use his locker? Is that in there? Oh, I don't think that's the one that was on his locker, was it? No, wait, it was. No, was it? Hold on. Is this the one that was on his locker?
Objection!
It is. Okay. I couldn't remember which one we had. Officer Marshall, doesn't it strike you as odd? That is, you being called in to testify like this. After all, you weren't in the security room at the time of the crime. And yet you dragged me down here. Explain yourself, partner. It's quite simple. You left a very large trail behind at the crime scene. Or, to be exact, a handprint. Listen real good, partner. Like I said, I'm not the caretaker of that crypt. I pay my respects. That is, make my rounds about once a month. It's only natural my fingerprints would be in there.
Objection!
I only wish it were, officer. But you see, your fingerprints were covered in blood. That would be something you report. What's the meaning of this? Your blood-stained fingerprints were at the crime scene? The blood was wiped away. However, a luminol test clearly revealed this. Well, Officer Marshall? It seems to me there ain't a person in this room with a head on his shoulders. I take it you have an explanation then, Officer Marshall. About the blood-stained fingerprints? You may begin your testimony about the fingerprints. What BS do you have for me, good sir? Like I said, it's only natural for my fingerprints to be in that evidence room. One of them just happened to be at the same place as the blood-stained handprint. The murderer touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance. Bloodstain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated. Or didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves? See? Had nothing to do with it. Was he wearing gloves? This witness's explanation appears valid. Was he wearing gloves? No prints. Okay, no prints. That's true. Take their knife. Nope. Although there's room for doubt. Life wouldn't be fun without any doubt, partner. Cross-examine, go! This guy's hiding something. I can feel it. Now's my chance. Okay, I gotta prove it. Prove it! By pressing until the game tells us we were right. That's because you, how do you put it, pay your respects once a month? Yeah, that's right. That and one more thing. That locker happens to be mine. What do you mean? I mean what I said. That's the locker I used when I was a detective. The locker I still use. All that's in there now, though, is a heap of broken dreams. Yeah, the cloth. And it was, when we saw the video, it was not there, and then it was there. It'd be strange if my prints weren't all over that locker. Apparently his fingerprint data was never removed from the locker's program. He must have been using the fingerprint lock all this time without ever knowing it. Found a bloody hand in Marshall's locker. Here was Wright. One of them just happened to be in the same place as the bloodstained handprint. So then, what about the bloody handprint? Wasn't mine. It's no mystery. He's explained. My locker is covered with my handprints. Just so happened. The chances of that happening are 1,000,000 to 1. On the contrary, one could argue just the opposite. Chances of that not happening are 1,000,000 to 1. Get one thing straight, partner. You ain't gonna get no reward for me with a mere fingerprint. You wanna know why? Bloodstained fingerprint. I disagree. Unrelated? They're as different as night and day. Kinda like cereal and cereal. One's got to do with breakfast, while the other's a type of murder. That's right. Although seemingly alike, they're totally different. Freaking Judge, man. Judge is about as much comic relief as Maya and Emma usually are. Actually, Emma's less comic relief in this one. Good on Emma. How'd you know that? I may be a loner, but I still do my job. I keep up on the reports. There was a blood stain at the scene, thought to be left by the murderer. That's right. It was found on Detective Gumshoe's locker. However, no fingerprints were detected on that handprint. I think we tried that too. So that would mean the murderer wearing gloves. What happened to their hand? What happened to place their hand on top of Officer Marshall's handprint? That's the only logical conclusion. Are you starting to get the picture, partner? The picture? This seal of blood in the desert is just food for the buzzards. There's only one reality, and that's this. Security tape. So long as my trail isn't in here, you can't say otherwise. This isn't getting us anywhere, Mr. Wright. Please consider carefully where you're going with this cross-examination. Yes, Your Honor. Too bad it wasn't me in that video, right, partner? What do you mean? You want to tie me to this crime, isn't that right, partner? If so, that video is the only direct evidence you have. But that video is next to useless. It's full of blind spots. Blind spots. Places you can't see. The camera's panning back and forth. The floor isn't shown. If someone was familiar with the camera's position, they could leave the room without being caught on tape.
Objection!
We don't have time for your speculations, Mr. Wright. Well, Mr. Wright, if you can show us evidence in this video that indicates Officer Marshall was present, please do so now. Sure. Very well. Allow me to point out your mistake, Officer Marshall. Tread carefully, Mr. Wright, or you may wind up being the one making the mistake. Let's have another look at the video. Show us! just don't want to jam out to this. I want this to be my ringtone. No. Steel Samurai. And then my text notification could be, objection! Bringing your attention back to the security camera is a mistake I'm afraid you'll soon not forget, Officer Marshall. The days are short in Texas, and so are our tempers. Could you sum up what you have to say in 8 words or less? Very well. You can clearly be seen in this video. Mic drop. Exactly 8 words. Not bad, partner. The key lies in a certain locker shown in the video. That locker with the white cloth sticking out, that was the witnesses, I believe. Now then, let's rewind the video a bit. Slowly, because we don't use rewind and fast forward in this. We just go slowly, because we like wasting time. Now the streamer has gotten his water, he sounds better. Bing, 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 bing. That's a good point. It sounds like the Pokemon Center healing sounds. Oh, the white cloth, it's gone. What's the meaning of this? When the crime took place, the white cloth wasn't there. Then, it suddenly appeared. There's only one explanation. Officer Marshall, you were in the evidence room at the time of the crime. What's more, you opened your locker when the camera was turned away. Order? It would seem that that's the... Hold your horses. Sorry, partner, you got the wrong man. So what if my locker was open? That doesn't mean I'm the one who opened it. The murderer needed to hide something, so opened her locker and stuck it in. It's not my fault, he happened to choose mine. Why is everyone staring at me like I'm a wanted man? This guy isn't just playing dumb. He really doesn't know. I hate to rain on your parade, but you're the only person who can open that particular locker. Oh yeah? I call your bluff. You say I opened that locker, now prove it. A fingerprint sensor? We talked about this earlier today.